Hello, welcome to the How Do I video series for Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. My name is Vanessa Garcia and I'm a Microsoft Dynamics NAV escalation engineer. I'll be presenting you how do I create and manage electronic payments in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. At the end of this video, you'll have an overview on how to work with electronic payments functionality in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015, being able to set up the application, create payment files, and export them using the payment journal. You'll also learn how to manage open documents for which payments have been made previously, and also track the payment history and re-export electronic payments. There are 4 objectives in this video summarized in 4 steps. First of all, we will see how to set up the application to be able to create an electronic payment. We'll also see how to generate payment proposals and create the relevant payment files using the payment journal. You'll also gain the ability to manage open documents in cases where the payments have been already created, as well as to know how to track the payment history and re-export electronic payments so you can review the whole payment process. For each of the topics, you will see a little demo in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. Let's start with the 4 steps needed to use the electronic payments functionality in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. The first step is to learn how to set up a bank account and a journal badge in order to be able to create electronic payments for vendors from a bank account for the first time using the payment window. This is a prerequisite to be able to create and export electronic payments. Let's see a little demo in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. Imagine that you got a new bank account called W1W1B Euro, which you didn't use to create electronic payments yet. In order to be able to do it, you need first to set up a payment journal badge for it. To do that, you need to go to the payment journal, to which you can access using the search box of the client. The payment journal will appear and you can drop down in the badge name field. Then you can create a new one and select W1W1B Euro as name. Under description, we can select Euro Payments. As balance account type, we should select bank account, and the bank account already created in the system is the same, W1W1B Euro. We keep the proposed number series and we check that the copy viewer setup to journal lines is true. Then we click OK and we are ready with the setup. This means that from now on, when you use this badge as basis for creating payment files, the system will automatically create payment files of the type which is defined in the Payment Export Format field of the W1W1B Euro bank account. The second step is to learn how you can easily generate payment proposals and create electronic payments files in the Payment Journal window. Let's also follow a little example in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. Imagine that you're going to create now a payment proposal for bank W1W1B Euro based on open vendor entries in the system. You'd probably also like to wait for a confirmation from your bank saying that the payments have actually been executed to make sure that all is correct and accurate before posting the payments in the system. From Payment Journal, you can use the function Suggest Vendor Payments. Imagine that you want to create a payment for purchase invoice due up until the 4th of February 2016. We then select this date as last payment date. If you want the bank to execute your payments on due date, you can check the Calculate Posting Date from Applies to Doc Due Date option. This means that due date will be inserted in the Posting Date field when you use Suggest Vendor Payments functionality. Then we click OK, and the following payment lines are suggested. As you can see, the system has inserted the Applies to Doc Due Date in the Posting Date field as well, due to the previous setup. When we create the payment file later on, the system will insert the date from Posting Date field as execution date for the payment in the bank. Additionally, the system proposes a message to recipient using the external document number on the purchase invoice that is being paid. This text will be included as well in the payment file as remittance information. The last thing to take into account is the recipient bank account, for which the system automatically proposes the bank account as the preferred bank account that is set up for each vendor. Imagine that before creating the payment file, you realize that the amount to be paid to the first suggested vendor is higher than it should be, and at this point we only want to pay 500 euros from the 1,127.89 euros proposed, so we modify the first line reflecting only this amount. Now, in order to export the payment file, you should use the Export Payment to File function on the ribbon, and you save it in your computer. For example, payments for upload on 28 January 2016. After that, you can upload the file to the bank website in order to be processed. Once the file is exported, you can see that the fields exported to payment file and total exported amount are updated in the journal to reflect the payment export information, and you can even review the history of this exportation by going to Credit Transfer Reg Entries button on the ribbon under Navigate tab. If we do that for the first line, for which we modify the amount to 500 euros, you will see that the transfer amount was 500 euros, but the initial applies to entry amount was 1,127 euros 0.89 cents, so the payment only covers the invoice amount partially. This functionality is good because you reduce the risk of errors, as for example paying twice to your vendors or losing the overview of partial payment scenarios. As you don't want to post anything until you get confirmation from the bank, you can simply delete the lines in the payment journal, and later on you can register the payments in the payment reconciliation journal when they are really executed by the bank. The third step is how to manage open documents for which payment exports have previously been exported. This demonstration will show you how to ensure that you pay your vendors in the correct way when you generate new payment proposals in situations where there are open vendor documents for which electronic payments have been already created. Those open vendor documents may be due to situations where the payments are still in process at the bank and the payment is not yet posted, or the payments are only partially paid. Imagine that it's now February 2016 and you must create a new payment file for the bank, including the invoices that are due up until the 5th of February 2016. Right now, the payments we made before are not posted yet, and we want to avoid them in order to not pay accidentally our vendors twice or too much. Then, from Payment Journal, we select again our Suggest Vendor Payment function, where we select the 5th of February as last payment date, and we make sure that the Skip Exported Payments is checked. As you can see, as we selected the option Skip Exported Payments, the system only proposed payments for which no payments have been made yet, being the current total exported amount value 0. We would have liked to modify some open documents that are partially paid, or going through all the proposed open documents by deleting or modifying the ones we desired. To see this example, we delete the lines, and we can suggest vendor payments again, but unchecking the Skip Exported Payments. As you can see, all the open documents are proposed now, including the ones already exported, and we can manually go through them, having the possibility, as we showed before, of checking the history of specific payment lines under Credit Transfer Reg Entries button. The last step will show you how the system allows you to re-export payments to electronic files in a way that keeps track of the payment process. Let's see a little demo in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. There will be situations where you or the auditor needs to investigate previous electronic payments, and other situations where you cannot find the already exported file, so you need to recreate it again. For those situations, you can use the Credit Transfer Register functionality, which you can find in the Payment Journal under both Home tab and Navigate tab. The Credit Transfer Registers window contains all credit transfers that have been exported to payment files. You can even navigate through the link entries for each credit transfer registers by clicking Entries button. The list of entries contained in the credit transfer gives you or the auditor the possibility to track details, as for example the recipient IBAN and recipient bank account number of previous payment exports. The credit transfer registers window gives you as well the possibility to recreate the payment files in case you lose the previous one or this one was corrupt. In order to recreate the payment file, you just need to place the cursor on the relevant credit transfer line and select the Re-export Payments to File action. The file then is re-exported and you can save it again in your machine and later upload it to your bank. As you can see, the status of the credit transfer changes from file created to file re-exported, so you can clearly check which files you have already re-exported. Additionally, the system gives you as well the possibility to dig into the payment re-export history by clicking on the Re-exported Payment History button. Recapping what we've talked about during this session, you're now able to set up a bank account and a journal badge in the payment journal. You're familiar with creating electronic payments and exporting payment files. You're also able to manage open vendor documents that have already been exported, which is very useful when the payments are still in process, as well as to know how to re-export electronic payments while you keep track of the payment history in Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. Thank you for watching. It was great to have you in this video. I'm looking forward to see you again in another of our How Do I video series for Microsoft Dynamics NAV 2015. I hope you enjoyed it and see you next time.